morning, good morning, good morning, party people. It's Tuesday, August 29th. A little Bob Marley to start your day, a little positive vibes only. All right, Tuesday, August 29th is significant for a variety of reasons. Anybody know why? Yes, it is Willis Adams' birthday. I wasn't quite going there, but I love where the energy's at. Yes, it's Willis's birthday. Happy birthday, Willis. Here's what it is. Okay. Some of you have seen this and some of you are praying for it that can't come soon enough. And this will age me a bit, but it'll help you understand the demographic that I currently sit directly in the middle of. It's back to school, back to school. I tie my boots tight. I pack my lunch. I hope I don't get in a fight. Oh. Billy Matt, if you don't know, now you know. It's a little Billy Madison, back to school. So hopefully everybody's having a great back to school. Kids are getting back in session. People are getting back into routine, and we're going to kick it off. You good? So this week, little preview for you. I'm going to go a little bit deeper into Mega Camp additional items. Okay. There are lots and varieties of ways in which Mega Camp provides value to folks. Last week, I went to a deep dive into the state of the industry and what's going on so that you guys can pay attention as to what you should be paying attention to heading into the first quarter of 2024. This week, I'm going to go a little bit deeper into some of the mindset things they talked about. And they had a variety of different speakers, and I'll help you recap it because I attended hours and hours of presentations, and I'll give it to you in about 15 minutes of the things you should be paying attention to as it relates to where your mindset needs to be heading into 2024. Sound good? Beautiful. Great energy this morning. Appreciate it. Yeah. All right, here we go. Mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives. Interesting thing to note this week. One of the things right away in our Y4C2TEs is win-win or no deal, right? And no one ever said that business models were meant to last forever. Things change constantly. And I want to be a little upfront with you as it relates to some changes that have or will be coming down the pike that quite frankly don't really impact many people, but it gets a lot of headlines. And so because things get headlines, I have to address them. Make sense? So you've probably been paying attention if you read a little bit of what I call the real estate tabloids, which is AKA Inman News. There's not much value I find in Inman other than talking about gossip fodder, to be totally frank. I think if you're just looking for perspective, I think Real Trends and Housing Wire provides far more depth and perspective on our industry, but Inman catches a lot of eyeballs. Why? It's a pay-per-click revenue ad model. But the reason why I lead this off with you is win-win or no deal is an important part of our Y4C2TEs and our belief system. Okay. And I've talked a little bit about profit share as it relates to the dollars that have been paid out. Last week, August 21st was a significant date because we paid out close to $120,000 in the Milwaukee market as it relates to profit share, coming to about $514,000 on a local level through 2023. Okay. And last week, I talked a little bit around mailbox money and the impact that mailbox money has on a variety of people. 63 associates earned at least $500, 36 associates earned at least $1,000, and 11 associates earned at least $2,500 for one single, basically 30-day window. It's pretty good passive income, right? For some of you, and we talked a little bit about how KG paid his tuition money with it, there's a variety of ways in which people use their profit share. Andy Stillman just bought a brand new convertible, drop top convertible. I mean, there's different ways. 1972, I stand corrected. Lots of ways in which people use profit share, okay? In that, though, there's been a lot of discussion and chatter, and you probably saw this come out on the news, and I'll just be totally forthright as to where we are and how we got here, okay? Keller Williams cuts profit sharing for agents who fled to competitors. Let me just help you understand the baseline behind the headline. Make sense? So here's the baseline. In Q1 of 2023, there was a formal proposal set forth by peers in the KW network nationally in Q1. Okay. This is like outside the Milwaukee market. The proposal is drafted and set forth to the agent leadership councils. The Keller Williams Milwaukee Agent Leadership Councils reviewed, discussed, and voted on in June of 2023 a proposal that would eliminate profit sharing payments to those that are actively competing against the business model. Okay, our local ALCs make up 48%, or 48 of our associates are represented in your voices on the agent leadership councils. You can see those 48 associates down below. What they did, and they did this in every market center across the country. They had a proposal, they put forth a discussion. I can tell you locally, there wasn't much of a discussion. People didn't see much of a need to discuss it, and people moved on. Okay. Results were tabulated across the country. They were in order to hit critical mass to bring forth to the International Agent Leadership Council for review and a vote. So what happened was at MegaCamp of 2023, they hosted the International Agent Leadership Council meeting as it relates to this proposal. I attended the meeting, which is where I took this picture to help you understand the depth and breadth of how much people cared about the proposal that was brought forth. And it was probably one of the most, they said on record, the most well-attended International Agent Leadership Council meeting. And just for a little bit of a back history, Andy Stillman sat on the International Agent Leadership Council for several years as well. Just as a little sidebar. So what's the impact? Okay, total profit share in 2022 across the Keller Williams network was 180 million. Profit share that went to active competing associates was 30 million. Okay, it's not an insignificant amount of money nationally. Now, locally, here's the impact. It's 13 people. And the total earned income on the profit share for those 13 people was less than $5,000 in 2022. Nationally, a bigger issue than it is for us locally, right? The effective date of the proposal is coming out in July 1 of 2020. The change for this will go into effect July 1 of 2024. So basically almost a year from now. My unfiltered opinion, dogs don't bark at parked cars. Like, not that big of a deal. I don't think it's that big of a deal. People are trying to make it a bigger deal than it truly is. Especially when I looked at it locally, I'm like, whatever. I have way bigger things to worry about and fish to fry than worrying about like what goes on with this whole thing. Make sense? And to be honest with you, that seemed to be the energy of your peers in the room that discussed this back in June that put it forth to the International Leadership Council. Now, if you have questions, comments, concerns, feedback, feel free to hit me up. I'm happy to share them with you. And I'm also happy to share the perspective that we had locally as we discussed this amongst the ALCs, as well as the conversation that was had at the International Leadership Council at MegaCamp in 2023. Cool? Beautiful. Comments, questions, concerns, hit me up. Just wanted to make sure I addressed it because I didn't, I think this is a good little leadership lesson. Sometimes when you're too close to something, you think that everyone knows what you know. And then all of a sudden things hit the gossip fodder and you're like, oh yeah, I've been thinking about this and talking about it for 9 months. But then I realized that the majority of the public didn't realize this. And so as a leader, that's totally on me and something that I recognize I should have been more proactive in terms of some of the communication that came out. But good lesson. Yes. Stillman.
What I found on the IALC was that our world is just our world. This company is enormous and everybody's world is different and deals with different situations. Also, some of the market center situations are huge and challenging. Our challenges isn't something like this. And as we probably saw, that's a big, huge room full of people that do a lot in their own market centers, and that's why you get elevated into that position. But
here's the other thing I learned through the whole process, because there isn't a lot that comes forward that really changes the everyday impact of the way in which we run our business model. I think here's the coolest thing about it. One of the things that KW believes in, I'm just going to go back here in a second, is it's an agent-led company, right? For agents by agents. Agents brought the proposal forward. Agents voted on the proposal. Agents discussed the proposal. Agents brought it forward to the International Leadership Council, and the Leadership Council, led by agents, made the decisions. This wasn't had anything to do with anything from a top-down directive. It was all bottom-up, and that's the beauty and the way in which this company works, and the purpose behind why the ALCs exist, so that agents control and run the way in which the agents want their company to be run. Cool? Beautiful. All right, moving on from that. Next up, quick few office operations updates for you. Next week is Labor Day weekend. Hope everybody has an incredible Labor Day weekend. There is no team meeting on Tuesday, September 5th, following the Labor Day holiday. So just as a quick heads up there that you can plan accordingly. Next week, Tuesday at 9 a.m. As a reminder, I'm going to hit this over the head as we continue to gain momentum and steam behind submissions behind this. You'll see reminders sent out Friday and Sunday, reviewed on Monday, and sent out Monday afternoon or Tuesday morning once we have time to clean it up. Just making sure that we're putting this in front of you. Stay tuned, because we're also going to add this to our new KW Realty MKE website. Hint, hint, stay tuned, which will have a gate feature so that you can access this in a variety of ways as we look to streamline communication as it relates to how we communicate with you. Sound good? Beautiful. Next up, Willis is 5-5. He's got Katie Rinka. Learn what it is that makes Katie Rinka great in the energy and aura that she has. It'll drop tomorrow. Stay tuned. Cool. All right. Mega Agent Camp. Okay. Last week I went deep in diving into the macroeconomic trends as it relates to how it's impacting the housing industry. This week, I'm going to recap more of around some of the mindset that you need to adopt and embrace. And I want to plant some seeds for you from some of the topics that were shared at Mega Agent Camp as it relates to mindset and activities. Here we go. Key highlights for Mega Agent Camp in 2023. Okay. I want to highlight a handful of things for you. The depth and breadth of perspective as it relates to what is Mega Agent Camp. The KW team invested 1,500 hours of interviews, over 300 agents. Ultimately, they selected 80 to be on stage. Okay. 1,500 hours of interviews, 300 agents they interviewed, 80 of them made it on stage. The purpose behind Mega Agent Camp is this. They wanted to pull together the best of the best one-pagers for the Millionaire Real Estate Playbook Volume 1. Okay. The goal is that every associate in our organization is able to have actionable insights to make their business better. Great. Someone's up on stage. They're giving you all their tips, tricks, and what it is and how they do YouTube videos. How the heck do you actually do it? That's the purpose behind the playbook. Okay. For those of you who like physical copies, you can buy a physical copy of this for $20 and they'll send it to you. If you want to take highlights, you like to take notes. I'm a notes person. I write everything down. It's the way in which that I can remember things. If I don't take notes or don't highlight things, there's no way for me to remember. And if you're not a notes person and you're not a physical person, you can also get this digitally for free. But the purpose behind it was that every associate in our organization is able to have the actionable insights to make their business better, to learn from those that are doing it at a high level. Diversity of thought and diversity of approach is an incredibly powerful tool. So you can have access to that through the Millionaire Real Estate Agent Playbook, over 100 systems to move from ideas to action. Okay. Remember this. Education without implementation is just entertainment. You are not in this business to be entertained. You are in this business to earn an income for the money that it can do and what you can do in this business to provide for others. Make sense? Actionable insights. Education without implementation is just entertainment. Okay, here we go. So first up, day one, they hosted a CEO summit. Okay, and the CEO summit, they basically said this. If you want to create scale, you have to create scale through people. Okay. If you want to create scale, you have to create scale through people. Some of you desire to create scale at a big, massive level with lots of people. Some of you desire to create scale with you and maybe one or two other people. That's totally cool. Here were the 12 people's mistakes that CEOs make. To me, this list is one of the best lists I saw at Mega Camp. Why? Because business is easy and people are hard. The good news is if you can make hunting for talent a habit, all other mistakes get easier or less likely. So what are the 12 mistakes CEOs make? Not always looking for talent. Remember, in the game of business, it's a game of talent attraction and retention. Those with the best talent will have the best business. Those with average talent will have an average business. Okay? Not hiring killers. 3, hiring people that need to change. 4, waiting for a replacement before replacing. 5, failing to help people grow. 6, buying into say versus do. 7, failing to inspect what you expect. 8, not letting goals be the bad guy. 9, propping people up. 10, failing to listen our way to success. 11, running on personality gas instead of organizational gas. And 12, leading from me-go instead of we-go. If you think about that in ways in which that you want to lead your organization, and again, your organization could be just you. Your organization could be your household. It could be your spouse. It could be your kids. It could also be your team of 10. It could be your team of 2. It could be a team of 1. The 12 mistakes CEOs make. I'd highly encourage you to print them out and put them in front of you so that every single day as you wake up and you have to make decisions as it relates to how you create scale in your business, are you constantly being introspective about mistakes you can make and avoid them on the front side? Hint, hint, stay tuned to the Think Like a CEO podcast that will be going into a deep dive on this in their next session. And if you haven't taken a listen to it, I would tell you it's an incredible leadership podcast that Jay Papasan and Gary Keller put out. Next up, at the CEO Summit takeaways that they took a deep dive into, they interviewed an incredibly world-renowned coach. His name's Tony DeCello. And in Tony's conversation, he talked about how leading is teaching. And there are 3 things that make an exceptional coach, an exceptional leader, and an exceptional person who helps others get what they want. 1, you have to care more than they do. You will battle with them and you won't give it up even if they do. 2, you have to be a great listener. First words out of anyone's mouth can tell you how they are. 3, you've got to be strong enough to hold them accountable. And again, I look at this not only as the way in which that I lead our teams here at Keller Williams, but also the way in which that I lead my relationship with my kids, my relationship with my spouse, my relationship with those in which that entrusts me with what it is that I need to do to help them get them from point A to point B, right? You have to care more than they do. You have to be a great listener. And you got to hold people accountable. And consistency is the key. The more boring you are, the richer you are. Get comfortable with boredom. Too many people change for change's sake. Okay. Next up, we had a conversation with Molly Bloom. Anybody seen the movie Molly's Game? Okay. I'll give you a quick hint as to what Molly's Game was. Molly was an Olympic mogul skier. In the Olympics, she blew out her knee. She couldn't ski again. So she went out to LA trying to figure out her life, and she led a multi-billion-dollar poker game that was on both the West Coast and the East Coast that got involved in organized crime. And it was like this whole crazy story. Great movie. Go watch Molly's Game. But here was the purpose behind Molly's reason. She totally reinvented herself on multiple occasions. She went from an Olympic skier to holding the largest poker game in the world with billionaires, to then being raided by the FBI, going to prison, and now she is a motivational leadership speaker around crazy stuff. Okay, 3 key takeaways that I took away from Molly's conversation. Your problem isn't the voice in your head, it's that you're listening to it. The problem isn't the voice in your head, it's that you're listening to it. 1, 2, take radical responsibility for your life. Take radical responsibility for your life. 3, don't let others co-sign your dreams. Okay. Next up, they had Tim Grover come up. And again, the reason why I'm sharing this with you is this is all around the mindset of what it is that you need to be prepared for the market that we're heading into. Okay. Tim Grover. Anybody know who Tim Grover is? Tim Grover was the personal trainer for Michael Jordan. Then he moved on to Kobe Bryant. Then he moved on to Dwayne Wade. Pretty good list of people. Okay. And then he co-authored a book called Winning. He had 2 key points in which that I took away from his conversation. 1, there's a difference between being interested and being obsessed. Interested is a hobby. And remember, obsessed isn't a bad word. It's the only way to be your best. And winning is not normal. It's easy for top achievers to forget, right? Embrace the journey as what it is and take stock in where you are. The last thing that he mentioned is every heartbeat isn't given. And so it's important to remember those in which you give heartbeats to. What he's saying is how and where you spend your time is important because time is the most scarce resource. Don't waste it. Next, They went into a conversation around hustle culture versus happy culture. Okay. So the first couple speakers were all around leadership, mindset, how you lead others, how you lead your family, how you show up. And then it went into this whole hustler culture versus happy culture. And I've talked a little bit about this for some of you who've spent some time with me. I read the whole series, the Harvard Business Review series on happiness and how and why people, where they find happy, right? And so this one hit home for me. A couple takeaways for you. We can be successful in many aspects of our life and still be unhappy. How many people do you know that have millions of dollars and they're miserable? Make happiness a priority. Don't leave it to chance. We are all entitled to our emotions we experience as a reaction to our circumstances, and this is important. It's okay to be happy or sad. It's okay to be elated or disappointed. It's okay to be proud or embarrassed. We get into trouble when we hold on to these feelings for far too long. If you're too happy for too long, sometimes it can be a little bit of naivete of not realizing where it is that you are and taking stock and where it is that you're going. If you hold a grudge for far too long, man, that is an incredibly bearable weight to hold on your shoulders, right? The key to it, and I challenge this with people all the time within our organization, is people ride the roller coaster of emotions, and that's okay. But what's your baseline? And is your baseline constantly, if you look at your baseline of where your heart rate is, can you be like this? And at any given time, yeah, you may have moments like this, but can you remain a constant baseline? We get into trouble when we hold on to those feelings. Our disposition is a choice. At the end of our lives, we want to be able to look back and say, I am glad I did versus I wish I had. Something to remember as you think about what it is that you're planning for in 2024. I'm glad I did versus I wish I had. Next, and last thing, as it relates to mindset, as we sit here on August 29th and you start thinking about where you're headed in Q3, Q4, and into Q1 of 2024. They had a speaker, Phil Jones. He wrote a book, Exactly What to Say. Phenomenal read. Highly recommend the book. Very quick and easy to read. Couple takeaways for you. And the last one is probably the most important as it relates to our business. First, the quality of your life will be in direct proportion to the quality asks that you make. The quality of your life will be in direct proportion of the quality asks that you make. Fear is the fertilizer of growth. And stop counting conversations and start making the conversations count. And here was the big takeaway I took away from his conversation as it relates to our industry. Questions create conversations. Conversations create relationships. Relationships lead to opportunities. Opportunities lead to more sales. If you aren't asking the right questions on the front side and being a good active participant of being a listener in the conversation, you will never be able to create meaningful relationships to get someone to trust you with their largest financial asset on their balance sheet. You have to remember your ability to ask great questions to create meaningful relationships starts with the first question and your ability to be an active participant in the conversation with the way in which that you listen. Questions create conversations, conversations create relationships, relationships lead to opportunities, and opportunities lead to more sales. Remember that. Cool? So there was my 10 to 15 minute recap for you as it relates to your mindset and how you're starting to prepare for 2024. That's 3 days of content I boiled down into 10, 15 minutes of what I thought were the most important takeaways. All of this information is on the KW Realty MKE website. And for those of you who desire to create scale, I'd highly encourage you to list out the 12 people mistakes that CEOs make. Because in order to create scale, you need talent. The way in which that you find talent, retain talent, and attract talent will be the ultimate differentiator between your ability to continue to create scale. EQ is probably the most important aspect that not enough people work on as it relates to how you look at and develop talent. Make sense? So as a reminder, all these resources available to you on the KW Realty MKE website underneath resources, MegaCamp 2023, economic slides, systems and tactics, the one-pagers we talked about, also available through Connect on Command. I just looked at this yesterday. A handful of the speeches that were recorded have been uploaded through Command. So you go to Command and then into the Connect tab, and you'll be able to find MegaCamp 2023 if you want to watch a few of the vision speeches and a variety of other things. As it relates to some of the actionable insights in terms of how you make a better business in 2024, these one-pagers are available to you as well. And as I reminded you, it's all available in the playbook as well. So a variety of ways in which that you can take action in order to implement into your business in 2024. Make sense? 1,500 hours of interviews, 300 agents. It all boiled down to the one-pagers. But it all starts with your mindset and your approach to your business in 2024. Okay? Because everything is 90 days out. And if you think about it as we sit here today, we sit here basically in September, October, November, December. You got 120 days left in the year. You can have and will find success. There's 45,000 units that will be had this year in southeastern Wisconsin. The majority of you are trying to look to do 12 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 to 100 to 400. You can find them. You can do it, but it starts with your approach and what you believe you can do, and how you lead yourself is how you will lead others. Make sense? Beautiful.
The Millionaire Playbook, that's from this year's Mega Camp?
Just from this year's Mega Camp. 100 systems to move your and the ideas into action. There you go. All right. Next up, Tuesday, September 12th, I'm going to go back into macroeconomic trends that you need to be paying attention to that will impact your business in 2024 as a follow-up from Mega Camp again. Again, I told you before, I went so you didn't have to. I spent my time, energy, and resources in boiling this down for you. And my goal on September 12th is to give you the nuggets you should be paying attention to as to what is the market of the moment that we're heading into. And then I'm going to challenge the group as it relates to what that looks like and how you're looking at your fourth quarter to set you up for your first quarter in 2024. Make sense? So that's next team meeting, which is Tuesday, September 12th. Cool? Beautiful. All right. Lastly, if you found the information valuable and you're interested, Family Reunion is right around the corner, February 25th to the 29th out in Las Vegas. You can register now. I will tell you this. In my opinion, Family Reunion is the best event. Why? Because it is a choose your own adventure. Unlike Mega Camp, where you're sitting there on a stage listening to 80 different people about 80 different businesses, Family Reunion is all breakouts. And then you choose the adventure based on what it is that you want or desire to take from those that are presenting to you. Here's something else to think about. I'm going to use Gene Jaskowski out in Lake Country as an example. The total investment Gene made to attend Mega Camp was about $3,500, $4,000. Okay. Let's just say $4,000. Gene's average GCI is about $14,000 a unit. Gene came back, and a week later, she had one referral through a connection that she made at Mega Camp of someone who was looking. I can't remember if it was a buy side or sell side. One referral. I know Maureen got a referral. I know Janine got a referral. I know a handful of other people that got referrals through the network they created at Mega Camp. There is a return on that investment of how you spend your time and how you make the connections from a referral standpoint. Julie Licken, I used as an example all the time. She went to a family reunion out in Anaheim, California. The next 12 months, she did 4 deals through the network she created at Family Reunion in Anaheim. If you think about the ROI of your time, energy, and resources, these events, I don't push them because we have any sort of financial gain of you getting there other than productivity. And we are a culture of productivity. I highly encourage you to consider Family Reunion in Las Vegas, February 25th to the 29th. Cool? Beautiful. All right. With that, I'm bringing up Vranek, who's going to talk a little bit about paid ad campaigns in Command.
All right, good morning, everybody. So I've mentioned this a few different times, and we've done some in-person trainings all around the new paid ads experience in Command. But it got a complete revamp. So you'll see the screenshot on the screen right now. It looks completely different, but the functionality is still there. It's just more advanced. It's more robust, which is super exciting. So you can still run paid ad campaigns through Facebook and Instagram. They also integrated the Google Display Network, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But you can generate a lot more different and unique ad campaigns. So you can use single image listing ads, multi-image, multi-listing ads. They also integrated AI so that you can instantly generate high-performing headlines and body text and descriptions for your listing ads and your single image listing to multi-listing carousel ads. So just way more campaign ad options. There's 2 different ad types as well. So you have the lead capture ads, which it still is going to utilize that Facebook lead generation form to capture those leads and then automatically funnel them into your command database. So that component is still there, but they also are now incorporating traffic ads. So these really rely on the destination website or landing page to capture those leads. And as I mentioned, it's also now going to incorporate the Google Display Network. So this network is going to help you reach people as they browse millions of different websites, apps, and Google-owned sites such as YouTube and Gmail. It's an effortless way to broaden your customer base, and you can reach people at all stages of the buying cycle. So that network is now integrated within some of those traffic ad campaigns that you can run through the system. So the other thing, as I mentioned, is you can utilize AI. So if you're not really sure what to write within the description of that ad campaign, when you're in there and drafting that ad campaign, you can actually click on this little like magic wand icon, and you can auto generate text for these sections. The nice thing about it is that you can keep refreshing it, and it's going to keep generating some new descriptions and text, and there's no limit to that either. You can also change the style, which is really cool. So if you want your description to be a little bit more emotional or caring or artistic, it does now give you that option as well. So really robust options within these ad campaigns as you're creating them. And then finally, as always, you can track your results. So the nice thing and different thing about these ads is that you can now go into a ad campaign that is live, and you can edit the ad campaign details. You can also cancel the ad. So those were options that you did not have before. But you can view the results. You'll see on the screen here, this is going to be your view as you're tracking those results. So you can view the clicks, the views, leads, cost per click, cost per lead, and the click-through rate all within the campaign. And you can also view a live preview. So that's kind of nice to see exactly what that ad campaign is looking like as it's running on Facebook and Instagram and on Google. So really exciting stuff. We did a few in-person ad trainings on this new experience. We will be doing a Zoom training on it, I believe on September 14th. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be on Zoom. So it will be recorded if you want to check that out. But finishing out this month for training for marketing masterminds, this Thursday at 11 on Zoom, we're going to be going through how to get reviews and testimonials. So where to send people, how to ask for reviews. We're going to be talking through that. And then next week, because of Labor Day, the holiday, we are just going to be having an open Zoom training where you can ask us any questions. So you can also jump on and ask us questions about the ad campaigns as well. So thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Lindsay. Hey, I got a question for the group. If you take a listing, what's your responsibility?
With regards to what?
As a listing agent, you have 4 responsibilities that you need to complete in order for you to successfully do your job at the highest level. You want to know what they are? Get the listing, market the listing, successfully negotiate a contract on the listing, and market the sale of a successful listing. It's a pretty simple playbook. Now, for those of you, I see this all the time as a student of the game. Many people take a listing, they throw it on the MLS, maybe host an open house, maybe they don't because they get an offer accepted so quick that they didn't even realize it. Then they post a sold sign with them and their clients, and that's the extent of which that they market their listings. And it's not intentional, nor is it very purposeful. And as it relates to this, every listing should have what? Babies. Every listing should have 2 babies. Okay. 1 direct referral from your client and one indirect piece of business through your marketing efforts in which that you are able to secure more business. Every listing should have babies. So as it relates to Lindsay's commentary this morning around ad campaign options, your job, leveraging your inventory, is to do what? Build more business. And if you aren't thinking about it with that intention or that purpose, you are missing the boat as to how you create scale. One of the ways in which that you can do that is through paid ad campaigns via social, to get your success in front of the eyeballs you desire to get in front of. Make sense? Cool. I wanted to challenge you in the way in which you thought about that, because it's not just another program in which, oh, all right, No, get the listing, market the hell out of the listing through a variety of resources and ways in which the levers you pull, successfully negotiate the sale of the listing, and then you're going to tell the entire world what it is that you did and why you did it and how you did it in order to generate 2 babies. Not 1, 2 babies. The other thing I'd challenge you with is, are you tracking your babies? Most people don't. Just being point blank, most people aren't tracking how many babies they get. So it's a weird analogy, I know, but my job is to get you to think. Cool? All right, here we go. Wrapping it up. Upcoming trainings and events. Here you go. End of August, just as a hint, we'll have the September training calendar out this week. We're trying to finalize a few details. Working on a guest speaker to come into town to pour into you guys towards the end of September or early October. So stay tuned for that. We've talked a lot about profit share the last couple of weeks because there's been a lot of people making good money. Tomorrow morning, join me at 10 a.m. for a conversation with Martha, Annie, Kevin, and James, all people that are making significant income through passive ways of profit share. I'll be the moderator to the topic so that you guys can understand what it is that these guys do in order to make the income they do through profit share. Sound good? Next up, save the date. There's a KWYP chapter launch in downtown Milwaukee, September 8th and 9th. And then the KW holiday party at December 1st at the St. Kate Arts Hotel. Sound good? Beautiful. Here we go. July and year-to-date 2023 results. Where are we and what is the results people have had? The Home Run Club, to me, in my opinion, I know I've said this many times, the most important list to be on. Why? It means you took one listing taken, one contract written, one contract closed. It means you got paid and you're going to continue to get paid. Okay. Handful of people to shout out. Shout out to Elena Zeman, Ashley Meyer, Becky Thomas, Brandon Riles, Christy Weber, Deanne Hansen, Gail Zeman, Gerardo, Jack Tempesta, Jill Fink, Carrie Tabor, Katie Hart, Leah Bird, Melena Cortez, Mike Langenhall, Triggs, Nada, Sal Eliota, Shayna, Tammy Mayhew, and Terrell, along with a host of others who are here on a very regular basis. Congrats on a home run club in the month of July. Next up, $1 Million Month Club in the month of July. Handful of people I want to call out or shout out. 1, Frank Cinto out in Lake Country. John McLaren, Catherine Eaglehoff, Kevin Matson, Maggie Drain, Simonis, and Say. Congrats on a $1 Million month in the month of July. Next up, highest percentage of increase in business this year versus last year in the month of July. Shout out to Miller Marriott, Mike, Katie, Tammy, Jason, Nathan, Beth, Heston, Flanagan Group, Jordan Shelton, Lizzie, Verche, Karen, Stephanie, and Catherine Eaglehoff. Congrats on the biggest increases in July. GCI earned in the month of July for agents on a team. Okay. Shout out. Leading it out, Janine, Dan Wild, Kathy Shaw, Martha Ola, Katie Falk, Stephanie Minnick, Kathleen Rosenheimer, Steph Miller, Ginger Lazovic, Will Stale, Sue Nikolic, Andrea Weichert, Kirsten Lindstrom, Elena Zeman, and Maggie Drain, rounding out the top agents on teams of GCI earned in the month of July. Individual volume leading the way, Bridget Ty at 4.8, Molitor, Sarah Oberbrunner, Betsy, Jean Jaskowski, Nada, Frank, Cinto, there you are, Cinto, I see you, buddy. Jessica, Kristen Stahulik, Lori, Michael, Damara, Kevin, Jill, Stacy, Judy, Deanne, Nick Jensen, there you go, Nick, I see you. The black t-shirts are working, Nick. Stay consistent. Steve Law, Lindsay Andrews rounding it out for individual, got it. Beautiful. Year-to-date individual units. Sorry, I was stand corrected. The GCI on the team one was for year to date, not just the month of July. Thanks for the correction. Individual year to dates so far year to date. Lori, rounding out a great investor portfolio, closing a bunch of units. Lori, congrats. John Molitor, Sarah Oberbrunner, Nick Fetting, Lindsay Andrews, Joey C, Bridget Ty, Kristen, Betsy, Demara, Melissa, Jessica, Mike, Kathleen, Christiane, Julie, Jill, Mara, Jeff Johns, Ethan Masson, Nikki Kunick, and Susan Fellows for individual units year to date. And here we go. Individual volume year to date. Bridget Ty, 11.2 with Sarah O on her heels at 10.6 and Molitor at 10.5 and Betsy rounding it out right there. And then you got Becky Thomas, who's had an absolutely killer year. Wait till you see her August. Hint, hint. Wait till you see Becky Thomas's August. Lindsay Andrews, Demara Bolton, Katie Montalbano, Jessica, Mike, Julie, Nick, Jill, Melissa, Kristen, Patrick, Young. Shout out to PY, Carla Florence, Lori, Connie Cummings, and Nada rounding it out for individual year to date. Next up, July team volume. Falk Groove and Gallagher leading the way at 24 mil, JSG at 17, Gallagher Lake Country at 8, Double Bolt, Stale, Desties, Nikolic, Duval, Team Trimble, The Wilds, PPG, On Point, Fair Hinton, Miller Marriott, Fernwood, Foxglove, Thrive, Nancy, Klasky, and Root River for the month of July. Now, market gives you volume. Agents and teams control their units. Units so far year to date. JSG leading the way. FRG, Miller Marriott having a great year. SRG, Root River, Duval, On Point, Fernwood, Nikolic, Fair Hinton, Team Trimble, Desties, PPG, Enlighten, Double Bolt, A Key Home, Thrive, Foxglove, and Champaign rounding it out. And then lastly, year to date for team volume. Through the month of July, almost cresting the 100 million mark of two teams, JSG and FRG. Congrats. SRG, Gallagher, Team Trimble, Double Bolt, On Point, Duval, Fernwood, Miller Marriott, Nikolic, Desties, PPG, Fair Hinton, A Key Home, Root River, The Wilds, Thrive, Foxglove, and Enlighten, rounding it out for team volume year to date. There you go, guys. Your business will grow to the extent that you do. You will grow to the extent of those who you surround yourself with. Hopefully, I planted a lot of seeds for you as you look ahead to the end of the year and into 2024. Guys, have a great week. We will have a great Labor Day. Have a great start to school, and we will see you Tuesday, September 12th. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.